Hey guys, and welcome back to Garden of Kayland. Have you guys noticed that it seems like people got bored of the same old plants, and now they're creating these Frankenstein plants, which I'm actually kind of here for. And these plants have hefty price tags to match them. Now, I love me a variegated plant just as much as the next person, but paying over triple-digit numbers, 4-digit numbers, I'm not quite there yet. And if you're not either, then you're in the right place. So here's my collection of variegated plants that I didn't pay crazy amounts for, but I love them like I did. And some of them used to be crazy amount. Not when I got them though, because But before we get started, hey, I'm Kayla and welcome back. If you're new here, welcome aboard and be sure to subscribe if plants are your vibe. Now let's look at some variegated plants. And the first one on today's list is my Philodendron Jose Buono. And I would have never dreamed of having one, let alone having one so beautifully variegated. I got this for $60 last year, which I think was a really good price even then. And look at the amazing genetics. Now, the story behind this is I originally got one, but it wasn't variegated at all, which leads me to believe that it just wasn't a Jose Buono. I don't really know. I looked it up and I saw something called Mbe, like Jose Buono Mbe. At any rate, this is a Jose Buono that I was looking for. It's actually better than the one that I was looking for. But some of these almost all variegated leaves, I am just blown away by it. And you see that it's putting out a new leaf, which is so amazing to me because this room that I keep it in is always cold. I always have to turn on a heater. It's like detached almost from the rest of my house. So it gets pretty cold in here. And for this to be putting out new leaves while it's cold during the wintertime is so amazing. I'm so grateful for it. I'm so happy about this plant, y'all. And each leaf is so different from the next one. So you have like this half moon, you have some that are like a little bit marbled, and I'm just head over heels over it. I do need to get it up on some type of support soon, and I think I'm gonna put it outside this summer. I don't know, I just really want those big leaves because, I mean, even though these are pretty big leaves already, I want them to be massive because this variegation is just gonna be so amazing on a larger canvas. So in the summer, I will go ahead and put this up on a moss pole. It's ready for one now, I think. But until then, I just have it kind of chilling on this shelf back behind me, and I'm really happy with it. The next one was only $30 for me. And even though I got it imported from Indonesia, I do see them all over the world, honestly. I'm in the US, but I see them everywhere. So I feel like anybody can get one at this point. I feel like they're now readily available and still just as beautiful as when they were expensive. This is my variegated Burle Marx, and will you please just look at the fullness of this plant. Don't let it deceive you though, because it's just leaning towards the light because of where I have it. And we got some dead leaves in there too. I'm just going, there we go. That's better. So yes, my variegated Burle Marx, what you see is what you get. These leaves come out this color and then they don't fade or change colors. Like sometimes you have the ones that come out white and they kind of fade to this yellow. Not this one. They come out this color and they stay this color, and they are very impressive. So many different colors on each leaf. And I give this one a 6 out of 10 rating as far as stability, because I do get a lot of green leaves that come in. And for the ones that come in all green, I kind of chop them off. I don't know if that's good for the plant or not, but I mean, it's doing okay, I guess. And then this is another one that comes out with so many different types of variegation. Like you have that half moon right there, and then you have some, this is another half moon, but one side is kind of speckled. I mean, I'm just really all in all impressed with this plant. And to make matters even better, it's been growing really fast. And this is another one that I'm going to get up on a moss pole because these leaves can get a little bit bigger than this. They're not going to get massive like the Jose Buono, I don't think, but I'm going to try to maximize that size any way that I can. I let this dry out completely before watering it again. I did deal with some shock when I first got it in, but it was very minimal and they seem to bounce right back. So the care has just been very low maintenance and very rewarding. I have it in front of a grow light, hence it growing in one direction. And I'm just real happy with it. I think you would be happy with it too. Again, very low maintenance. Haven't had any issues with it other than shipping, and I got it shipped in the wintertime. So I was actually very surprised that it didn't take on more damage than that. I keep these in about 70% humidity. I haven't tried keeping them in an environment with lower humidity than that, so I can't speak on it, but I feel like they would probably be okay in about 50. I'm just so in love with it that I want to give them everything and then some. I fertilized them one time, but they probably didn't need to be fertilized. But I just did it because I have them under a grow light and trying to like mimic summertime. They're not stupid though. They're like, girl, I know it is not summer. You're doing a lot. But I still fertilize them. So yeah, we're just doing real good with the variegated Burle Marx. $30, and maybe I've gotten like 5 new leaves since then. So when I got it, it was already bushy, and it seems like there are like 2 or 3 plants in here right now, and I'm pretty sure that they're easy to propagate too. So yeah, go get you one. This next one has kind of a funny story. So I was recording a video a little bit before Christmas, and out the window I see my husband running up the driveway with something in his hand. And I'm like, what the heck? So he walks in and he hands me this plant. And I'm like, why were you running? What was the emergency? He was like, well, I didn't want it to get cold. And I'm like, from the driveway to inside? But anyway, I thought that was so cute. It was so adorable. The plant was warm and it seemed like he had it like in front of the vent while he was driving home with it. But as a Christmas gift, he brought home this Florida Albo mint with crazy variegation on it. It's still little. It's still a baby. I'm still nursing it and babying it right now. I have it in my greenhouse cabinet. I'm really excited and like interested to see what all is going on with this plant. But my husband said he saw the mother plant. I didn't get an opportunity to see it, but he said he just thought it looked so amazing. So he got the smaller version because he was like, the big version, do they usually cost that much? And I was like, well, welcome to the plant world. Yes, they do. They usually cost that. They usually cost more than that, actually. But here it is. This is the latest leaf. I don't want to like touch it or handle it too much, but I do want to show you like what I'm expecting out of this plant. Just look at this leaf. You can see some of that mint down there. I'm really, really excited about this. I have a bunch of different Floridas, but this is definitely going to be my favorite one. Not just because of how beautifully variegated it's going to be, I can already tell, but just because my husband got it for me and he really, really went through a lot to get it home to me, apparently. I would say there's not much to see, but even as a little seedling, I think that this plant is so gorgeous, and I'm really excited to see what else it's going to do this year. In my care, my Philodendron Floridas tend to start off really slow, but once they take off, they really take off. So it's put out this new leaf. It's got another one coming in kind of down here. I don't know if you can see it. Nope, you can't see it, but it's got a new leaf coming in. It's already got some roots that are like begging to be up on a moss pole. So I'm going to be doing that very soon. I just haven't really done a lot with this plant other than water it and keep it in the cabinet because I hold it so near and dear to me. And y'all stay tuned because we're going to be tracking this plant this year. I'm hoping that it takes off as quickly as some of my other variegated plants, like this Philodendron Ring of Fire that I got as a seedling too. And I had this shipped from somewhere on Etsy. I don't remember. I got it last year. It was something that I really wanted to grow from seedling, and I knew that I could get it cheaper if I got it as a seedling. And I knew that it would grow fast and be rewarding me quickly because all of my other versions of this plant have grown so rapidly and are big now. Here it is, the Ring of Fire, so beautifully variegated. The leaves come in, look at this leaf. The leaves come in kind of this copperish orange color, and then as they harden off, so they'll still be this color for a while, but as they harden off, they'll kind of go to this green and this like limey colored neon green here. But what I really enjoy about this variegation is just how chaotic it is. Some of them just have blotches of variegation. Some of them are marbled. Some of them have little splotches. I mean, it's just all over the place, but the chaos is stable. You're not just going to get a plain green leaf with this one, at least not in my experience. So that is definitely something that I'm looking forward to as this continues to grow. And like I said, I got it as a seedling and it was like $40 when I got it as a seedling. So maybe even less than that. It was under $50 though, so it got a green light from me. And it's just been pushing out new leaf after new leaf. And I have it on this shelf also under a grow light to kind of bring that variegation out more, to kind of speed up the process. And it's definitely one that I recommend to everybody. Very easy to care for. Okay, the next one really threw me off because I do not like any version of this plant ever for any reason. Yet when I saw this one, it did something. I don't know. Did I really go and buy ivy? Did I do that? I don't like ivy. They've been so impossible for me to care for. This is a new version of the Hydra Helix or ivy that I've been seeing called the yellow ripple. And the leaves are like so delicate and dainty. So when I got it, I really just imagined it trailing down. And that's kind of what I do when I see a little baby plant. I imagine what it's going to look like when it gets bigger and kind of decide, am I going to like that or not? And this passed the test hands down. I'll still probably never be a fan of regular English ivy or the Hydra Helix or whatever you want to call it. But this one is definitely one that I want to keep, and I want it to get big and start trailing and just be happy. It has this yellow variegation on the perimeter of the leaves, and they're very thin. You see how they just kind of like flow? I think I just love how wispy and whimsical the leaves are, and the texture that it appears to have just really does something for me. And I got this from Lowe's for like $6. It was this size. I just put it in a different pot. Was very overwatered when I got it though. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not all too sure on how to care for this one, which is why I don't like ivy, because I just can't seem to get the care right for them. But I'm gonna give this one a shot because I do love how these leaves look. And next up, we have the good old Monstera Standleyana that is kind of lacking variegation right now, but it's still growing pretty tall. I don't have it in a super bright spot. I don't have it under any type of artificial lighting, so it's really just doing what it does naturally. I have it near a window, so I think that as the seasons change and the summer rolls around, it will start to put out more variegated leaves. But since I don't have it under that artificial lighting, it's kind of just doing its own thing right now, which is fine. This is one of 3 that I have right now, but it's the only one that I actually have climbing. The leaves haven't really sized up the way I expected, so I think I'm gonna end up putting this one outside in the summertime too, and just continuing to extend this moss pole every time it outgrows it. It does have a few of what I consider to be ideal variegated leaves, and none of them are completely green. They're just not as variegated as I would want them to be. This one seems to have more of the speckled variegation. I have seen them a lot more variegated. I've seen them with some of those half moon leaves, but since I don't have mine in that bright of a spot, I'm probably not going to get that right now, which again is totally fine. They're starting to get a lot more popular, and I'm starting to see them in big box stores for like $20 to $30. When I got this one, I actually got this as a cutting for my mom, but I remember she paid $50 for like a 4-inch pot. So those prices are coming down. This, I think, is starting to get tissue cultured. So they're going to be a lot more readily available. And that means you can get one now too. I mean, not that you couldn't get one before, but I wasn't doing it, not for this one. No. So yes, the Monstera Standleyana Albo is out there in big box stores right now. I literally just saw one in there yesterday. I saw a bunch of them in there yesterday by Costa Farms, and I do recommend them. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Calatha Pilosa, and in true Calathea nature, in my care especially, it's starting to kind of brown, but that's okay. It's probably a humidity thing. I keep telling myself it'll come around in the summertime. Although I'm not a major Calathea fan, I had to get this one. The variegation on it was just so beautiful. It didn't have these brown spots on it yet. Some of the leaves are totally green, and they seem to be the less fussy leaves of the bunch. I have this kind of covered by a canopy of other plants that are under a grow light, and the humidity is about 70%. So I'm not sure what is happening here, why they're kind of unhappy, but I'm hoping that these brown spots are just the shock from when I first got it, because the new leaves that it's pushing out don't seem to have them yet, at least. And as you can see, it's pushing me out some beautifully variegated leaves. So I'm hoping that it's doing okay and not facing any real issues right now. The variegation on these leaves is so out of this world. It kind of reminds me of like a peacock or something. And the leaf shape in itself it's just really beautiful. So even though it's looking kind of a hot mess right now, I feel like once it comes around and starts being happy again, I'll have a big bushy plant, and most of the leaves, if not all of them, will be variegated and happy and gorgeous. I got this from a big box store on clearance, actually, and it was $10. So if it dies, if it hates me, then I only lost $10 and I'll take it as a learning experience. This was gifted to me by John at Chimera Tropicals, and it is the Philodendron Florida Beauty. It was just a 2-leaf cutting when I got it. I lost 1 leaf, and then it had this one, which has taken a little bit of damage and some wear and tear over time, but it is seemingly really happy and healthy. But this Florida Beauty is one of my favorite plants. It has the most beautiful variegation ever. I have this fully variegated leaf, no green on it at all. So you know what's going to happen to it, which makes me sad, but it's still there and it looks gorgeous. I'm just going to leave it on till the wheels fall off. And then after that all cream leaf, I got this one, which is absolutely gorgeous. And I have a new one coming in right there. So I'm so excited about this plant. As far as I can tell, the price for this is still pretty high. It's still in the 3 digits, but it's not as expensive as it was in, say, 2020. So I feel like it's more obtainable now. And even at 3 digits, I still think that it's really worth it. I keep it on the shelf behind me under some grow lights, along with a lot of my variegated plants. The artificial lighting just really helps bring out that variegation, but I'm kind of suspicious that in this case, it's bringing it out too much. So I've since moved it a little bit further away from the grow light in hopes that I don't get all white leaves. I'm kind of starting to get a little bit of that green. So we're going to see when the next one comes in just how much that actually works. And in the wintertime, I don't typically have to water my plants like every Wednesday or every Thursday. I can maybe go like 9-10 days before I have to water, but this one's thirsty after like 5 days. So yeah, I have to stay on top of it. I don't want to hurt this plant. It's my baby. So yes, the Philodendron Florida Beauty, definitely highly, highly recommend. The care for it is pretty straightforward. I don't have to deal with a bunch of, I got to fertilize this and humidity that. I just water it when it needs to be watered and it continues to grow. This next one is very, very underrated if you ask me. And even though I purchased mine fairly large, you can get them smaller at a very affordable price. This is my Philodendron Snowdrift, and at this size, I got it for about $150. Like I said, I've seen them a lot smaller for like $30 and $40. So very affordable. The variegation isn't as stable as I would like to see. Like I have some just plain green leaves, and then I have some very variegated leaves. So that's just part of having variegated plants. But even with just green leaves on the Philodendron Snowdrift, I am obsessed with this plant. I got it back in November for my birthday, and it has been steadily pushing out new leaves ever since then. I think that it's really beautiful, especially when it's unfurling and it has kind of that pink tint to the veins. Once it hardens off, it still keeps that really light color, which is another thing that I love about it. I'm really pleased with the plant. I'm really happy that I have it now. I'm going to put it outside over the summertime and just see it grow to its fullest potential, see the variegation really come out. So I'll be back soon to report on that. But yeah, I just thought that this was a really underrated one that I don't really see being talked about a lot. I went to another plant swap recently and picked up a bunch of stuff actually. And this Syngonium caught my eye even from a distance, and I think I gave her like $20 for it, which I thought was okay. I didn't know a lot about it. So this is my new Syngonium angustatum. And the young lady selling it told me that it was starting to revert and lose its variegation. And I was so confused, where is it losing the variegation? And she informed me that these aren't the variegated leaves here, but she showed me this one. So I was like, oh, well, I kind of like the other leaves a little bit better. So this is definitely a Syngonium that I had to have. I mean, look at the leaves on this thing. I'm supposed to be talking about the variegation, but the leaf shape just, oh my gosh, it's like a sword. And then as it matures, it will eventually grow to be 3 leaves on kind of like the Philodendron goldii. It'll have 3 leaves and they'll kind of all be the same size. It is insane. Where has this been all my life? But here's the variegated leaf right there. I have it under a grow light in hopes that it will kind of bring out a little bit more of that variegation. But for $20, I thought, not bad. It probably would have been more had there been more variegation on here. But again, I'm really, really happy with this type, the genetic variegation, as opposed to what I believe it's called the chimeric variegation on it. Anyway, I'm getting sciencey. I just love this Syngonium. I see the regular versions of it for like $20, $30 online. So I feel like the variegated version may not be a whole lot more. I don't know. Actually, I'll just look it up right now. Okay, so maybe they're about $200 at the high end and $50 at the low end, depending on the variegation, but still not bad. And even the regular version is amazing. So I'm happy that I have it. I'm glad I stumbled upon it. Apparently, I kind of hit a gold mine here. But I highly recommend, and even still, I consider it fairly affordable. The next one has been a bit of a drama queen, but if you know this genus, then you know that's just what they do. This is the variegated peace lily, and you can find these for sure at a big box store at almost any given time. I see them more in the summertime though, but the variegation on these is absolutely gorgeous, and the leaves seem to be thicker than the regular peace lily. As far as I can tell, the care for them has been pretty much the same. Super thirsty, very extra when they don't have enough water, etc., etc. I have had some problem with browning tips because I'm not keeping this moist enough. I'm not watering her enough. She still is giving me like good vibes here. It seems that maybe there's a bunch of different plants in here, but it's growing pretty full. I did cut so many leaves off of here because I wasn't keeping up with the care, but these are like a little bit more light due to the variegation, and because I was giving them more light, I forgot, oh, more light equals more water. So I'm on top of that now. She still looks good. The peace lily is already pretty beginner friendly, and to have a variegated version of that is just like, you can't go wrong. A plant video just isn't a plant video without at least one Hoya in it, right? How cute is this baby? I have a bunch of variegated Hoyas, but I'm only going to do one for this video because I'm saving the variegated Hoyas for another video. This is my Hoya Australis Lisa. OMG, will you please cut it out with how gorgeous this is. Now you can see there are various colors. You got dark green, you got the mint green, and then you have like this yellow. But when it sun stresses, it completely changes the game. All this yellow is more like red, and it is just to die for. I love it so much. It grows bushy. There is not a bunch of like long tendrils coming out of it, which I understand is part of having a Hoya, but I appreciate this Hoya for not doing that. It's so annoying, and it just keeps putting out new growth left and right. I couldn't be happier with this. I got so many plants over the winter. I'm so excited for the summertime. I need to get this baby up on a trellis soon. She's about to be falling out this pot soon, and like I can't have nothing happening to her because I love her so much. Okay, you guys, that's gonna do it for today's video. Thank you for watching. Let me know in the comment section down below, do you have any of these? And if you do, how are they doing? I love when you guys leave me like feedback and advice because sometimes I really struggle with some of these plants. Thank you guys again for joining me today, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.